Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel for a couple of reviews for some great movies to watch on the 4th of July, since it is, after all, the 4th of July. Alright, here's my favorite. It is the musical from 1972 called 1776. You probably heard me talk about it a lot on this channel because I really like this movie. It is wonderful. It's written, believe it or not, by a high school history teacher and who happened to be fairly decent with music as well. And yes, highly recommend it. I'm going to look at some of the other ones and then we'll come back to this one because, again, it is my favorite. I haven't watched it today and it is 5 o'clock my time and I've still got one more video after this, but I will be watching it next. Mostly because I was watching... Oops, preview. Okay, here we go. This is what I was watching last night and today. So this is HBO's John Adams. It is a very wonderful complementary piece to this one. Now, both this musical and John Adams were both taken from a lot of the letters between John and Abigail. So the lines that everybody says, many of them are straight out of quotes. And then they just pigeonhole them into the story so that they fit. And both movies do it, even though this is not really a movie, it's a miniseries, but nonetheless. So it's weird to hear where they choose to put them, where they choose to put the lines, because, again, they're just inserting them so that everything that is said is actually historically accurate. But where it was said, okay, that's a bit wobbly. Nonetheless, this is a wonderful, wonderful watch. Cry way too much in this show. And then in this one, I don't think I cry in this one. It's been a while. It's been a year since I watched it. Don't remember crying. And this is over 3 hours long. So I watch this one every 4th of July, and then I go back and do the commentaries. That's 7 hours every 4th of July I dedicate to this movie. And again, I'm behind. Even though Hello, John Adams was, that's a full series. That's 7 episodes, and many of them are an hour and a half. So yeah, that's why it took all of last night and today. And why I am coming out with the video late. So I highly recommend John Adams for historical accuracy. It's based on the book by John McCullough. And I have a feeling, I haven't had a chance to do the book yet, but I have a feeling the way they do the movie, because they're inserting so much of the quotes into different places in the movie, miniseries, that that's not McCullough style, but it works fine. So recommend this one big time, recommend this one, and Adams is portrayed fairly equally between the two, and that's cool. And it's fun to watch episode 1 and 2 of the HBO one against this one and just see how they paired the actors together with the ages and stuff like that, because in the cast is much older in this one than they are in the other one in regards to episode 1 and 2 of the HBO one. What else we got here? Some of the songs. Again, we'll talk about that later. Yankee Doodle Dandy, another great movie that I am not completely got into a full rotation with every year, but I did watch it a couple of years ago, and I remember the first time I seen it was a few years back, and I was like, whoa, you get to the very end, it's like, this is based on a true story. I'm like, I did not know that. So, yes, Yankee Doodle Dandy with Jimmy Cagney, recommend it. It's really good, and it also turns out to be a true story as well. Now, this particular video is from a song, The Grand Old Flag, from the movie Yankee Doodle Dandy. And the reason I bring this up is, let's see, who hosts this video? This video is hosted by Bruce and Nikki Carroll. And if you want some fun, and I hope to remember to include it, I'm going to try and remember to include the link to this video, because on the 4th of July, feel free to dive into the comments section. There's 206 comments here. And wow, the patriotism that just oozes out of these people is wonderful. Let's see, we've lost the spirit. Not all have, but it is rarer to come across. This is my land, and I'm so darned proud of it and how far we've come in a very short time here on God's green earth. And I mean, they're just all like that. Let's see. Not My Generation, no CGI, special effects, explosions, and still one of my favorite movies. If you don't feel a sweep of American pride after watching this movie, you need to check your pulse. So yeah, just go into the comments here. Forget about the song, or play the song, whichever you prefer. But wonderful Americana in there. Okay, I'll come back to this last link at the end. All right, now, one other movie, as we previewed earlier. Nope, not that one. This one. Wrong John. Okay, this is the other John. Johnny Tremaine. Now, Johnny Tremaine was produced by Walt Disney, and it was originally a 2-part episode on his Disneyland TV show. It is not based on fact. It is based on a book, but it's the story of a boy who joins the Sons of Liberty, and it is fairly accurate on the Sons of Liberty. If you judge coffee that comes through the coffee filter as accurate, yes, it's still coffee, it's still made with hot water, and that is how most people drink their coffee. But what about all the stuff on top? Isn't that part of coffee too? Yes, they're both part of coffee. In other words, this is a bit pristine. It shows some of the naughtiness, but not entirely. The History Channel did one on the Sons of Liberty a few years ago that was much more detailed on some of the horrors of the Sons of Liberty, mostly the New York branch, not the Boston branch. Though the Boston branch was highlighted in the John Adams version of some of the nasty things they did. But it was the New York branch that they had to dude, calm down. If you guys don't get your stuff together, we're not going to be recognized as the good guys if we win this thing, and we'd like to be recognized as the good thing. So chill your bones. And eventually they did, so yippee. But Johnny Tremain is a fun movie, and there's a song in it it's about the Liberty Tree, and it's a real tree, and it really was in Boston, and it's really where they did meet and have the meetings. But once the British found out and they took Boston, they chopped the tree down. So if you get the quarter, you know how quarters have the memorial stuff on the back from the States? Well, if you've got the one that shows Massachusetts, it has the Liberty Tree on the back. Yeah, that's what it looked like before the British chopped it down, and they only chopped it down just to spite the Yanks, so on them. But it's okay. So Johnny Tremain I watch every year. 1776 I watch every year. Because 1776 takes 7 hours to do, I rotate in other stuff here and there. And yeah, so, but those are my big recommendations. Now, if you want to stick around, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the music. And oh, one more thing. What not to watch on 1776? Well, as of June 30th of 2021, Hollywood being in the disgusting toiletry everything, and I don't mean toiletry as in perfume, I mean, no, the commode. Netflix's America, the motion picture, mocks the Founding Fathers' white male privilege. Now, this is coming out of the Daily Beast. You wouldn't expect them to be tearing into a movie that is so blatantly historically disastrous, and yet they do. So there you go. And it was really weird because the flip side is the Wall Street Journal, which I can't get to bring up on this because this is a private window, and I can't get it to come up. Anyways, the Wall Street Journal actually said it's not great. The jokes burn out really, really fast because of the parody is very hard to make go past 20 minutes and be successful. Very hard. Because basically after 20 minutes, we got the joke. Why are you still hitting it over the head? So the answer to try and overcome that is to just keep getting more and more outlandish, which they say this movie does. And so it's just weird that the Daily Beast actually tears it to shreds, and the Wall Street Journal's like, it's not great, but it won't kill your children. There you go. But no. And here's my big thing about this before I do the music of 1776 is my big problem with this show that they made is it's based on tearing to shreds the Founding Fathers. And I wouldn't even be against that under the normal conditions of, hey, everybody loves America and we're just poking fun of them inside the family. But we don't. I just made a video. Oh, God, the audio was horrible. I ended up using the wrong mic function. It was just terrible. I apologize if you tried to sit through that. If you made it through all 18 minutes, wow, kudos to you. But anyways, the idea of we are not unified. You've got Black Lives Matter flags on U.S. embassies. You have Olympic people trying out and coming in third place and throwing a fit and dissing the Star Spangled Banner. On the PBS special tonight, on the 4th of July, they're going to be singing the Black National Anthem. It's like, whoa, hello, hello. Like, no, it's to support the new holiday of Juneteenth. Yeah, well, Juneteenth was June 19th, and that was a long time ago. Hello, wiki, it's July 4th. This is for everybody. And if you can handle, I go into more detail on the other one, of course. I'm just trying to do it here because it's a little more friendly audible. Okay, now, you can't make fun of things that people don't understand. This is one of the big problems with trying to do comedy in the era we live in. Not only is cancel culture going to come after you big time, but with tearing down all the statues and removing history and nobody allowed to say anything. Yeah, in America, nobody's allowed to say anything. How many times have you heard people say, including yourself, wow, they can't make that anymore. Wow, they can't say that anymore. Wow, you can't do that anymore. That's the reverse direction of what this country is for and built on. I can guarantee you, when I was a little kid growing up, nobody said, you can't say that now, can't do that anymore. No, it was very much, it's good to be in America where you can say stuff like that. Even people who don't like you and don't agree with it, at least we live in a free country where you can do that. Yeah, that nobody says that anymore because it's not true anymore. And that's horrifying. We live in very, very close to equivalent of what the Soviet Union had, if not further down the road. And you had that lady from North Korea who escaped from North Korea, and she goes to Columbia University, and she says Columbia University is way past what North Korea did. And we're like, wow, when she says that, that's oy vey. All right, back to this. You can't make fun of something somebody doesn't know. And since our kids have not been taught who these people are, other than he's the guy on the dollar bill, he's the guy on the quarter, he's the guy on... They have Abraham Lincoln in the Founding Fathers. It's like, okay, it's whatever. He's not. Anyway, you've got all of these historical figures, but if nobody knows who they are, how do you make fun of them? You can't make fun of something if somebody doesn't have the comparison to know what you're hyperbolizing. How are you exaggerating it? What are you twisting? What are you turning? You can't. It won't. If it doesn't connect to the solid schema in the brain, it's not going to work. So this is my problem with it. You know, Daily Beast hated it because they went overboard. The Wall Street Journal didn't like it because they went insane after the first 20 minutes. My problem with it is you're trying to make fun of something that nobody's allowed to know who they are anymore. You can't make jokes about Star Wars if people have never seen Star Wars. They're not going to get the joke. The inside joke fails if you're not on the inside. And most Americans under 50, under 40, under 30, and definitely under 30, they don't know who these guys are. They don't. Nope. If they don't show up on their smartphone, they don't know. All right, that's that. Don't watch this one unless you just want to kill an hour and a half. All right, now let's do the music and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so the two best songs in this are the serious ones. Says me, you might disagree entirely. But Mama Look Sharp is oh my God, I love that song. And we sang it in high school. That's actually how I came to know about the production. And yeah, Mama Look Sharp, love that song. It is by far the most intense and serious song in the production. But right alongside of it is Molasses to Slaves to whatever oh my gosh, I don't know. I'll know in a few hours when I watch it again. And oh, amazing. This one's funny. This is the Lee song. I've got all these pictures up on the search just because so many good memories that I'm about to partake in. This guy, he's great in the movie, and he died not long after the movie. There's a few people that died somewhat recently after the movie. It's terrible. And then here's The Egg. This song's funny. This is, I think his name is John Da Silva. And he owns Ben Franklin to me. I mean, I can't see Ben Franklin without seeing this actor in it. And it's so funny because he's also in another wonderful historical movie that I really, really love called The Missiles of October. And in that one, he plays Khrushchev, and he nails Khrushchev. So this guy is able to swing between Ben Franklin and Khrushchev. Wow, what an actor. And he really, really does. It's so impressive. He's the most fun Ben Franklin out of everybody. Really just, well, he has so much fun. And William Daniels plays John Adams in this. And then 4 years later in real life on PBS, they did The Adams Chronicles. And The Adams Chronicles starts with John Adams and then goes all the way down to his, I think it's his great-great-grandkid. It covers a bunch of them. But in that one, he plays, 4 years later, instead of playing John Adams, he plays John Quincy Adams. That had to be weird. But he did. And there's Thomas Jefferson and towering over these guys. And he wasn't that short, but he really was that big. And he just died last year, so miss him. And it was kind of nice that when he did pass away that they noted this movie, 1776, because he was in The White Shadow. He was the coach on The White Shadow. But that they gave nod to this was fun. So yes, Molasses to Slaves to whatever one. Yeah, Howard Da Silva. That's what his name. Not John Da Silva. Howard Da Silva. I think John Da Silva was in Buck Rogers, and I was watching some other YouTube video about that. So just yeah, love this one. Gonna watch it in just a couple of minutes. I got one more video to make, and then I'm gonna watch it and eat a hamburger. There's no fireworks in the part of town where I live in. What a bummer. Oh well. Hey, I hope that your 4th of July is wonderful. I hope that if you haven't seen these movies, you'll take time to check them out. If you have checked them out, let us know below what you think of them. Also, I was mentioning that I was going to make this video to my friends, and they're like, well, don't forget Top Gun and the Independence Day. And I'm like, those are really good titles to include in the best of list for 4th of July movies. They're not ones I watch, but those are really good. What are your movies that you watch on the 4th of July each year? And this one girl, what does she have? She had one that was like, that's your 4th of July movie? She goes, it's only in one little bitty teeny scene, but that little teeny scene in that comedy movie, and I wish I could remember the name, I would be more than happy to tell you what it is. That one little scene in the comedy movie, she said, is what connects it to her, and so it's just become a part of her routine. Like I like to watch before, because I teach summer camp most likely every year. So far so good. And I always like to watch Meatballs with Bill Murray before it, and so that's the one I connect. But hello, that's totally about summer camp, even though it's entirely different than the summer camp I work in, because the kids don't sleep over and stuff like that. But yes, so do write down below what are the movies you like for the 4th of July. What do you recommend for other people? And include why you think that they're 1776-ish. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful Independence Day, and may we get all the rights that they promised and keep them and take good care of them and make our forefathers proud. We'll see you in the future.